to the south of here. That is important to point out. Here's Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Nicaragua over toward Honduras, Belize over here. Let me stop it here. This is by Sunday. Now, there's a lot of squiggly lines here. Some are better than others, so that's what I kind of break down, and we're going to get into that in a second. But all the computer models bring this into the Western Caribbean where it should develop. I'm a little more optimistic, just a little, that the bulk of the action tries to stay to the south of Jamaica. Down the road, though, still uncertain. And then it's going to lift up to the north. This is by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, taking you out in time and then stopping it here. This is, again, when it could start to get organized. This is by Saturday evening. Saturday evening, a tropical depression or a tropical storm possible right about here, right on the edge of Jamaica. Now, here's the difference between these two models. This one feels a front more so up to the north, and this will start to draw it up quicker. So if this happens, we could have some hurricane conditions. This is still an if, but we could have some hurricane conditions through the Cayman Islands and some tropical storm conditions through Jamaica, and then watching over toward Cuba. And you see, say, Belize, for example, if this were to happen, this would keep it more off to the east and then lifting to the north. And then in this scenario, this would eventually curl up and bring it closer to Florida by the end of next week. Here's what I'm seeing to break it down further for you, trying to just give you all the information I've got. It's going to be a front. So let's just take you through the Caribbean into the Gulf. There's going to grab this system sooner and swing it more to the north, which would be more of an issue for my friends in Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Cuba, and Florida. Still to be determined how strong this front is. If that front is weaker or it just kind of moves quicker, so we're watching the timing of it as well. So if it kind of just digs away quicker, then that would allow it to go more west. So we'd be watching over toward Belize, the Yucatan, and then eventually potentially the northern Gulf, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Everything does try to kind of curl it back at the end. But I just want to show you, these are the spots that should do some initial hurricane prep. So there's still some question marks about how quickly it's going to develop, but safety is my number one concern. And I know how it gets when a storm comes. I don't want things to kind of pop up at you and then everyone's rushing out or everyone's trying to protect their property, friends, family, animals. I know how it goes. So with that, these areas should take some at least initial steps, which means supplies, kind of thinking what you might need to do if a bigger storm were to come your way. Still Jamaica, although a little more optimistic today that hopefully this stays just to the south. Cayman Islands taking some initial hurricane preps, western Cuba, and then over toward the Yucatan and Mexico south through Belize and even northern Honduras. There could at least be, say this were to take more of a trek to the west, there could be some tropical storm conditions brushing by parts of Honduras. So these spots here, this is important. I know this is not the fanciest of maps. You know I'm not the fanciest of weathermen. With that, this is the most important map I'm showing right here because safety, my number one